Hello, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton. First of all, something I'd like to thank you all for is the comments we get. I don't read all the comments, but I've got a secretary that does, and any that need answering, I usually get informed they need an answer. Realistically, 99.9% of the comments are useful in what they give us. We do get the odd funny comment or the untoward one. I don't mind. If you want to comment, it's entirely up to you. It's a free world. Now, one of the things that has been portrayed over the years is the fitting of the Conrod bolts. Now, this should be pretty straightforward, but in some publications and even on some videos from old that people have done and have been sold through the marketplace, it says you can actually find that these are a bit tight in the rod and may need tapping home. There's a reason. When I looked at that, I thought that's not necessarily quite a good idea. Now we'll show up in close-ups with these how you should fit these. Ideally, they should be a sliding fit in that hole and should slide fully home. Now the reason being for that is on the back of the bolt, there could be a sharp edge on the original style ones that if it picks up on the aluminium as it goes in and you tap it, it could pick up a burr and put it down in the shoulder area of the actual Conrod. Not a good idea to have anything there as a stress raiser. Now strangely, the bolt's changed over time. This has got the dome on it. It's an early bolt, and what we find is these have a different camming action in the top of the hole in the Conrod than the later Mark III style do, which has a smaller head and cams off later as the bolt's twisted. It's still the same idea. Make sure they both slide home actually in the actual Conrod. Now, why they changed, I don't know. Nobody knows. The one person that would have most probably been able to answer that has sadly passed away. I've also noticed, for some unknown reason, the length of the Conrod bolts actually changed in length, whereas the nut through the life of the actual Norton Commando didn't change in height. Why they needed to add another 40 thou, 60 thou to the length of the bolt, I don't really know. You may find that if you use a later bolt, either the original style or a Mark III style, it might hit your crankcases, especially on the left-hand Conrod. Now, I've seen it in the workshop where people have relieved the crankcase instead of the bolt. Realistically, if you've got a thread and a half coming through the actual nut, then personally I would dress the bolt and not the crankcase. The crankcase shell is thin. You don't want to make it any thinner if you can help it. That concludes the actual Conrod bolt fitting. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact myself and Simon at Andover Norton.